Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am showing you my recipe for lamb curry. Please stay and continue watching if you're interested in that. Okay, we're starting off on high heat with a pot or a pot of your choice. Make sure it's a pot that doesn't burn easily because this is going to be a long cooking process, so you don't want it to burn. I have added some oil, probably 3 tablespoons, and I am using stewed lamb. This looks like these are like leg pieces. I add to that some rosemary. I've roughly chopped it, and yeah, just adding my lamb, but making sure that it's not overcrowded. And then I add a little bit of garlic powder directly to the lamb pieces. That's some garlic powder, and then some cake flour. I'm using about a teaspoon of garlic powder and a tablespoon of flour. Now you could just dust it with the flour on the side and then add it to the pot, but for me it's literally the same thing. I always do this step when I want a thick sauce at the end. So this is a nice way of ensuring that once your stock or the liquid of your pot boils down, it becomes nice and thick and lush. So yeah, obviously the garlic powder just for a bit of flavoring onto the meat. So I'm just gonna stir that around a little. And what we're doing here is we are browning our lamb. We're not cooking it through. So browning it a little so that we get a bit of flavor build up really. So this is going to be another layer of flavor that we get from here. Cook the meat for about a minute aside or until it's browned. And then once it's done, you can remove it and set it aside. If you have a lot of meat, you obviously have to do quite a couple of batches in order to get all your meat browned. So do not overcrowd your pot because that way it ends up boiling, and we don't want that. We want it to sear nicely on the outside. So yeah, be patient. Even if you have 3-4 batches going through, just do the same thing all over again because it is absolutely worth it to sear it. So as you can see, I am going through the steps again with everything that I've mentioned on the previous one. So I'm just going to speed this up because I have already explained the step. I'm just redoing it for the other batch. This is my second and last batch, and I'm removing it now so I can move on to the next step. I will use the same pot because all of those brown bits at the bottom are flavor. So I'm not washing or anything. So chopped a whole onion, medium-sized onion, and I'm searing it now. I'm gonna wait just a couple of minutes until my onion is translucent. As you can see, it's now beautiful and ready for the next steps. I am now adding my peppers. These are yellow peppers. I'm using a small, one whole small pepper, and I'm just gonna add it onto there. It's now time for me to add tomatoes. I have one medium-sized tomato that I chopped up, and that's what I'm adding now. That's followed by garlic. That is a heaped teaspoon of garlic paste. That is followed by crushed ginger, fresh ginger. I think fresh ginger works so much better in curries and that sort of thing. That's also a teaspoon of that. Now I'm adding some whole grain Dijon mustard. I love the stuff for layering of flavors. You won't taste it in the finished dish, but it does add a layer of complexity in your dish. I'm just stirring that through, trying also to pick up the brown bits at the bottom so that they don't burn and influence the flavor of my curry. This is the main thing that makes this a curry, the mother-in-law spice. It's nice and chilly, but it's also very fragrant. Indian spice, fragrant. And then I add a teaspoon of garam masala as well. The mother-in-law spice, I think I added about a tablespoon. And then I put some mixed herbs, about a teaspoon as well. Stir that around. I'm gonna wait literally 2 minutes just for my spices to be fragrant to move on to the next step. And here we go. This is the lamb. And to that, I'm gonna add some Worcester sauce. That helps us deglaze the pan, but also just adds a nice tanginess and depth of flavor to the dish as well. I'm using these stock powders. I'm adding a teaspoon to a cup of boiling water, mix that through, and then pour it into my pot. I am also going to follow that up with a cup of actual water, not the stock. So a cup of the stock, and then a cup of water is going to come through now as well, because I just want to have enough liquid to cover my meat completely. At this stage, you would reduce your heat to your lowest setting. I have mine at, I think it's like a 3 or something, but it's very, very low. Where it's still low, where it's slow enough for it to still simmer, but not to, burn or rapidly boil. And I do slow heat for stews and curries because I don't like adding more water as I'm cooking. This is all the liquid I'm ever gonna add to this dish, and it means that you're not losing any flavor by it shrinking and burning and then adding more water. This is it. It literally reduces down, but it reduces it down enough just so that you have a thick sauce and it's still flavorful. I like adding this smoked paprika or just paprika to this because I like to have a richly colored curry. So this, honestly, for me, I'm just adding it for that nice reddish color to my dish at the end. Not necessarily for a flavor profile of sauce. So just making sure that everything is stirred together, and I'm very happy with the way this looks now because I know it's still going to develop further. I cooked this for an hour and a half. I mean, this is lamb, so it does cook faster. Hour and a half goes by, and this is how beautiful it looks, nice and reduced. And now I've just added baby potatoes. You can use normal potatoes, but you would have to cut them into nice dices. But these are baby potatoes that are cut in half because they're quite small. And yeah, so after the hour and a half, that's when I add the potatoes. And then stir it around, just give it a bit of a taste so you know how it is. And my verdict from here was that I didn't have enough ginger and garlic flavor, so I'm just gonna add those quickly here. It is an odd time to add them, but I mean, this is fresh ginger and garlic, so I'm not really worried about them being added at this time, especially because the cooking time for the rest of the dish, which is the potatoes to soften, is about 45 minutes. So it's gonna get enough time for them to fully integrate into the dish without so that they don't taste raw at the end, really. So yeah, this is gonna go for another 45 minutes, still on low heat, just for the potatoes to be soft enough, not to be crunchy when you're eating them, but also still firm enough to hold up and not, be all over my dish. Wait for that 45 minutes. Obviously, my lid is on the whole time, guys. It's only open because I'm showing you what's going on. And here we go. After the 45 minutes, it's so reduced, and yeah, nice and thick, and the meat is literally falling off the bone. It smells incredible. This is the time that you would season some more if you feel like there's a need for more salt or that sort of thing. Please follow me on Instagram at Kholiwe_Cooks. I share a lot of food and wine content on there, basically an extension of this channel. However, there are other recipes that I do not share on my channel that I do share on Instagram. And tag me on the recipes you get to try. Subscribe to my channel, click here, and for more videos also click here. Until next time, goodbye.